Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the R-Rated Show. I'm Josh. Welcome. As you can see, I downloaded OBS and I'm giving it a whirl. It's a little sketchy. This is my fourth time recording this, I guess, trailer reaction, even though I don't like trailer reactions all that much. But we got to talk about The Mandalorian. And I got a trusty beer here, of course. Let me open it up real quick because I just got off work and I'm chilling. So I saw this when I got home. I was like, we have to talk about The Mandalorian. Turn line up. Whoa, that's bright. Turn that down. There we go. There I am. So I saw this and I was like, man, we got to talk about Mandalorian because Disney Star Wars has been so disappointing. I do not like the sequel trilogy. The Force Awakens I hated. Do I need to even go into The Last Jedi? And the other movies are just like, whatever. This is the first thing I've seen in quite a while from Disney Star Wars that looks promising, and I'm excited about it. Cautiously optimistic is how I would put my opinion, how I'm looking at this. But this doesn't really seem to have the stink of Kathleen Kennedy or Rian Johnson or any of that crap on it. It looks like it's got its own thing going on here. And I attribute that to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Now, Dave Filoni, if you don't know who that is, worked closely with George Lucas. You could say he was his Padawan learner. And George Lucas showed him what Star Wars is about and essentially mentored him and taught him about how to approach Star Wars and the characters and the vibe of the show. Like when they were working on Clone Wars, that's how Dave got involved with George's vision. And Dave Filoni understands Star Wars really well, and I think the fans have been clamoring for quite some time for Filoni to do more of the big stuff. Like give him a camera, let him make a movie, and they just give it to Rian Johnson, who did Looper. Like, who gives a shit? Like, Dave Filoni seems to be like the best option we have for good Star Wars right now, and they finally got him on some meaningful content. Not that Clone Wars isn't meaningful, but I mean like live action movie stuff. And they teamed him up with Jon Favreau, who is a real big he's a dependable Hollywood talent. He's a good actor, he's a good writer, and he's a good director. He kicked off the whole MCU with Iron Man back in 2008, and you'd be hard pressed to find a movie that he made that isn't good. He's a very competent director. Even though Lion King flopped, I really don't think that movie was lends itself to being remade in a CGI, real life way. So I'm gonna give him a mulligan on that one. But when I heard that they were teaming up to do this, all of a sudden I started going, yeah, this sounds like they're doing something right. And it's, to me, from what I've seen when they were teasing this, this is our second trailer. The first trailer I saw I really liked as well, but it feels like they're really making some good decisions here in terms of taking it away from the legacy characters, from the Skywalkers. It's doing its own thing. It's not about Jedi per se. I'm sure they're going to maybe work it in there a little bit, but this is more of like a space spaghetti western here. So, and I like that concept. I like that it's just something apart from traditional Star Wars, but it's in the Star Wars galaxy, so it feels very Star Wars. And they're putting a lot of money into this, and it looks fantastic. It looks cinematic to me. But anyway, let's just get into it. I'm going to set it up here. Let's take a look at this trailer. Now, all right. So what we're seeing here, classic Star Wars Stormtroopers from the original trilogy, and they're telling us that in this particular planet, in this particular part of the galaxy, that they're not friends of the Empire, and this is sometime around the original trilogy timeline, seeing how it's traditional Stormtroopers. So this to me looks like Tatooine. Now, Disney Star Wars has a tendency to just sort of carbon copy shit, Jakku, Tatooine, whatever. This looks very, very Tatooine-esque to me. They're not friends of the Empire. They're sort of outliers somewhere in this galaxy, and that's cool. It's cool just to think that this is the Empire and not the First Order, which whatever the fuck that is, right? Very cool. Very, very awesome. Very Tatooine-esque as well. Here's our Mandalorian. Another good shot. You know, he's got the chrome going, so he's got sort of a Jango Fett vibe going. But this is a little bit of a more, definitely feels more cowboy-ish to me. I really like the color schemes he's got going, and he's sort of his own thing here. So I like it. I dig it. You know what I mean? It's not Jango Fett. You know, this is, I think, something that evolved out of that Jango Fett movie they were going to do. And honestly, I'm glad they're not doing it, because do we really need to be messing around with, you know, Jango Fett's canon and his backstory and ruining another legacy character? No. I mean, we all love Boba Fett. Of course we do. And I'm sure we'll be seeing some Boba Fett. But it's kind of cool that this is going to be a series of, you know, standing on its own two feet with a new character. And, you know, he seems like a badass. It is sort of Boba Fett, but it's not, you know, so we don't have to worry about them messing up Boba Fett. But anyway, let's move ahead here. Digging it. All right, this guy right here. Yes, this guy. Look at this guy. You know who this is? This reminds me a lot of Bosque. This guy looks just like Bosque. Now, is it Bosque? I don't know. Maybe not. We haven't seen a lot of Bosque other than him just sort of standing around. I always liked the character a lot. I had the Star Wars Kenner action figure growing up. Really loved that character. I really liked that figure, and I enjoyed. It was one of those peripheral characters in Star Wars in the original trilogy that you always made you go, I wonder what his story is. He seems like really cool. You know, they're expanding on that here. Is this Bosque? Could be, couldn't be, could not be, but it also could be just an alien of the same species here, and a totally different character. But if it was Bosque, I'd be like, oh, neat, you know, finally get to learn something. You know, I'm sure everything he says will come out in subtitles, you know, but awesome action sequence here. Really like that. Oh, so this is cool, right? This is very cool. Now, we've only ever seen Han Solo and Carbonite Freeze. And now we're seeing more of it. We're seeing these other characters. We've got, 4 or 5 all stacked up in a row here. And our anti-hero is collecting his bounties. And I think it's cool. I'm all down to see more Carbonite Freeze, you know, in a Star Wars TV show. Like, it's cool technology. I mean, that's just so iconic, you know. Why not just throw it in there? Yeah, I know they're playing on my nostalgia. I don't mind seeing stuff I've seen from the original trilogy and new stuff, as long as they don't use it as a crutch to carry a shitty movie or TV show or poorly written characters or whatever. Like, you know, we want to recognize the fantasy world that is Star Wars, so it's okay to have stuff in there and use it. And I'm excited about this. This looks cool. We got more Carbonite Freeze. Oh, here's the new ship. Now this right here is very reminiscent of the Slave. This is not the Slave in the sense that it's not the traditional oval shape of the Slave. But, and of course it flies straight. It doesn't turn and then go. But the underside here, the belly of the ship, is the same sort of vibe as the Slave. So perhaps it was constructed in the same part of the galaxy by the Mandalorians, or, you know, it's definitely keeping in the tradition of the Mandalorian style ship. So it's, you know, got the loading bay in the back with where you can see here, he's loading up his carbonite frozen bounties. So that's awesome. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, this is not a cheap TV show. Look at this. This looks fantastic. Okay. Right here, obviously we're going for the Tatooine vibe. You know, a wretched hive of scum and villainy is definitely being portrayed here. So they want us to feel like we're in that Tatooine tight style planet. You know, it's a scumbag planet somewhere outlying in the galaxy somewhere, where the Empire, barely has its reach. It's probably got some stormtroopers, floating around, but this is where they conduct all their criminal business. So I like this. This is very cool. Let's talk about this real quick. Bringing back the original Stormtroopers. Now we're in the era around the Skywalker saga, the original trilogy. So I like original Stormtroopers. I don't need them to be black. I don't need them to be red. I don't need them to be redesigned. I don't need this, that, the other thing. I know they need to sell action figures, but it's just nice to see some good old-fashioned Stormtroopers. You know what I mean? It makes me happy to see these guys back. It's like Geoffrey Rush, right? Yeah, I love this guy. This Mandalorian seems like he kicks some serious ass. Like, he probably given Boba Fett a run for his money. Nice. Squid Man. Very cool. Look at this. Great. This is such a perfect image for this one right here. I love this image. It tells us, very iconic. Tells us what we need to know. This is very Ralph McQuarrie driven visual style. I know that they I'm pretty sure I read somewhere they went back and they looked at a lot of Ralph McQuarrie illustrations that Ralph came up with for George Lucas when George was conceiving the visual style of Star Wars, and Ralph McQuarrie has a lot to do with that. And so this is a very Ralph McQuarrie feeling vista here, and this is essentially, like I said, a spaghetti western in space. And I love this image because it says a lot about the tone of this TV show, and that the TV show falls in line with this one iconic image here, then I am going to like this show. Okay. Oh, okay, so let's go back there real quick, talk about that. We got some Carl Weathers going on here. Now, Carl Weathers is a great 80s actor. You might know him from Predator. You might probably know him as Apollo Creed from the Rocky franchise. And it's nice to see Carl Weathers doing some meaningful work. Honestly, I don't think he's really done a whole lot that's been noticed in any recent years. So it's nice to see him back. And hell yeah, Carl Weathers kicks some ass, man. Don't know who that girl is. Right there, this is the guy that played Gus Fring, the supervillain of Breaking Bad. I think this show has some Breaking Bad ties on the producing side, so that's why we're seeing some Breaking Bad people in this. Specifically, this actor who's pretty good. I think he did a great job at Breaking Bad, so this could be an interesting. I'm guessing this is going to be maybe like somebody who, I'm guessing this is going to be some sort of arch nemesis here against the Mandalorian or something like that. This guy looks like he could kick some ass with that pencil mustache. Awesome. Is this IG-88? I don't know. It could be. It's definitely the same robot type. We never got to see IG-88 in action in the original trilogy. He's always just sort of standing there with the lineup. But, he's a cool character design. You always wonder, like, what the fuck does this thing do, And now we get to see some sweet moves. And this is probably going to be IG something something and not IG-88. But I dig it, man. I like it. Very cool. We have a potential love interest here. Hot chick. Maybe she's his wife. Maybe he's courting her. It's good to have a little drama thrown in there. Show a human side to our anti-hero. Oh, check this. Yeah, they got Bill Burr, man. Now, I'm a huge Bill Burr fan. I love his comedy, and I listen to his Monday morning podcast pretty regularly. I mean, religiously, honestly. I've been listening to it for probably like a decade already, but I love Bill Burr, and, it's funny thing, the ironic thing is that Bill always shits on Star Wars and Star Wars fans. He says that he missed the boat, and he just doesn't get why people give a shit about it. It's just not his cup of tea. He's more of a sports guy or whatever, but, and apparently I saw an interview with him online. It's a podcast or something that he did, and they were talking about him being in this, and I had no idea that he was even going to be in the show. And I think that Favreau wanted to bring him on board because he knows that Bill Burr is not a Star Wars guy, and I guess he thought it would be funny. And hey, look, he looks like a badass little cameo character, a little side character. You know, I mean, he's got that shoulder gun, and maybe he's like some kind of like rival bounty hunter, and you know, his bald head kind of fits right in. So I'm all for that. That's cool. Great action shot there. Look, I'm going to say this again. Like, this does not look like a cheap show. I mean, apparently they're putting a shitload of money into this, and this is going to be. This looks very cinematic to me. It looks like they tried really hard to make this look awesome, and I'm digging it. Yes. Nice. Ugh, get that Disney off there. Get that Disney off there. Okay. So there you go, guys. There's the Mandalorian trailer. I'm like cautiously super optimistic that this is not going to suck. Mainly because Kathleen Kennedy is not directly involved in this. She is cancer to the Star Wars world. And this just seems like a good team up. Like I said, Jon Favreau, Filoni together seem like they got their head on straight, and it looks like they're making a tempered sort of show for a classic, you know, for the classic Star Wars fans like me who grew up in the 70s and 80s, guys, women, whatever, people who just love Star Wars in a sort of traditional sense. And the most encouraging thing about what I'm seeing here is that it's not all political and woke and shitty. Now, there's just 2 trailers, and so, I don't know, it could be bait and switch just so they could show us, you know, one thing, and then when we see the actual show, it's just woke as fuck, and I really hope they don't do that. I mean, Disney Star Wars isn't too bad with the wokeisms, but it's definitely very feminist in a way, and this, you know, doesn't really seem to be preoccupied with that. It just seems like they're trying to make a good spaghetti western in space, take it away from Skywalkers and Jedi and just do something different and change things up a little bit. So hopefully the story is really good, and mainly they gotta have good characters. I mean, the new Disney Star Wars characters are boring as fuck. You know, they're just so Disneyfied. They're bland. They're vanilla. We don't give a shit. I don't care about Rey or Poe. I don't care. Am I going to care about this guy? Am I going to care about the other characters in the show? I hope so. That's the main thing. These Star Wars needs to be character driven, and it looks like at least the world building is there, and the characters are interesting. So show me something, Disney. You know, you got another chance here to kind of maybe win me over with something good. I don't know if I'm going to subscribe. I'm probably going to get to the Disney Plus. I might get a subscription, trial subscription. If the first episode's really good, I would consider subscribing just for the show so I could see it whenever it drops on that day. But I gotta see. You gotta show me a good episode first. So anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think of Mandalorian. Are you excited that it could be a good Star Wars thing? It feels good to kind of be optimistic about Star Wars again. But let me know in the comments below what you think. And please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get it to 1,000 so I can start doing fun things like live stream. And, you know, I need to round that corner, man. Let's get there. If you like my content, then just go ahead and subscribe. And let me know what kind of content you'd like to see in the comments. I listen to my followers. So, yeah, just let me know what you think. And, of course, as always, guys, stay awesome, stay irrated. Cheers. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We've got a lot of great content coming for you this year. We've got reviews for movies, comics, and more. And of course, we will always have fan commentaries for the movies you love. Lots of talk about horror and just mainstream pop culture in general. And probably some Star Wars stuff leading up to Rise of Skywalker. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and yeah, become a fan of the channel. Let's hear what you want to see. Leave a comment below, and just let me know what you think. Alright guys, talk to you later.